Hi guys, Dan Cooper here from Pro Tools Expert, and I've got myself a copy of Envolution by Sonnox. I've found Envolution to be a very cool plugin that I think has two modes of operation. The first being a kind of surgical approach to the category of transient designers, this being what Sonnox say to be a frequency-dependent envelope shaper. The second mode of use being a really simple to use bread and butter transient designer. This isn't one of those plugins with a steep learning curve, especially for those already familiar with transient designers. I think Envolution can be as simple or as complex as you want it to be. I've been using this for about a week now and found it incredibly easy to use. So let me give you a very quick overview of the controls so that I can further demonstrate what I mean about the bread and butter functionality. So in the middle we have this scope display, which we can pause by clicking on and return to play by clicking back. We can adjust the speed so we can slow it down to see what's going on, and the zoom, if you will. That works quite nicely. At the top, we have the target gain for the transients, so we can push that in, hear what's going on. And we can see that's now yellow on the display, and sustain at the bottom. Push that out, we can see that's now displayed in purple. All very simple. To the right, we have the mix control, so that we can blend back in the original signal, which is quite nice. And this warmth control, which adds a very small amount of distortion post the output gain. So we could, Sonnox say, drive that a little bit more if we chose with the output level, which is nice. At the bottom here we have obviously a bypass for going in and out, and we have this diff control which lets us monitor just the process, and that can be used in conjunction with these bypass switches. So we've got bypass selected here on sustained, just hearing the transient control. If it's 0, we don't hear anything. If it's negative, we can hear what's going on there, and positive, you can really hear that. Same for the sustain. Hear that sort of pumpy effect, what's going on there. So, back to this frequency-dependent envelope shaper thing I mentioned earlier. Well, this is the party piece of Envolution, and what I like to think as the surgical approach. Both the transient and sustain sections have their own frequency mix controls that, when selected, replace this scope display in the middle. All very simple. Now, what's nice is that you can either focus or tilt the EQ with the controls at the bottom. So I've got this drum sample here, as you've already heard, and what I want to do is add a little bit more boominess and sustain to the low end, but a little bit more crack and punch to the upper mids. So what I'm going to do is use the tilt feature here for transients. So let's just play that here, put everything back to normal. And we can use our mouse wheel or the controls at the bottom here to adjust what's going on. So mouse wheel down, adjust to 12 dB per octave. Bypass sustain so I can hear just the transients. Bring it up a little bit. Let's adjust the hold, get a little bit more coming through. Go back to the scope display, we'll see what's happening. Okay, let's go for that for the minute. Let's now unbypass sustain, so we can just hear that. Click the frequency for this one, and we're going to focus. So I just want to really look at maybe something around the 100 Hertz range. Again, use our mouse wheel, push it up. So remember, the sustain now is really just being controlled here by the frequencies. Let's push this out, and the hold. Unbypass the transient section, and then back down to the bottom here to turn the diff off. So we hear it now with a mix of the original. Add a bit more warmth. Okay, let's hear it before and after. Let's try and level match it a little bit. So before and after. You can hear it's doing definitely something in that bottom end. It's done what I wanted it to, and very, very quickly as well, which is nice. So, what do I think? Well, as I said at the start of the review, I really think this is two plugins in one. I like that this can be subtle or aggressive with anything in between, all sounding, to my ears, brilliant. As we always say with these types of reviews, please go and get yourself the demo and try it for yourself. There's a great selection of bundled presets up here that will get you going very, very quickly. Sonnox have also included these tooltips. So for when you're actually starting to use this plugin, if you're not too sure what something does, you can actually just hover your cursor over a control and it'll tell you what it does. Easy. So for all those that have already tried Envolution, please let us know what you think in the comments below. I've been Dan, and thanks for watching.